If you live in the Des Moines metro, you've probably noticed one thing lately that's been going on for a little while now, and that's all the cranes, the cones, and the orange barrels everywhere. And what most people don't understand is this isn't just by random, but Des Moines is actually going through one of its largest growth and development cycles in the history of the city, and most people have no idea just how big it is. Today, I want to break down the largest new developments happening right now, where business growth is starting to explode, and what this means for home values, investments, and potential opportunities moving forward. If you're thinking of buying or selling or investing and just want to understand where the Des Moines metro market is heading, this video is for you. So, as I mentioned in this video, I want to cover three areas, and those areas are growth, and growth leads to opportunity, development, which also leads to appreciation, and the infrastructure that's being put in, which adds long term value to not only residents, but newcomers to the Des Moines metro. So let's get this started with the first question. And that's, why is Des Moines growing? And it really all seems to be happening for multiple reasons. But what is Des Moines attracting? Well, it's attracting corporate relocations. Lower costs of living allow for remote workers. The logistics of where you're located at in the country with I-35 north and south, I-80 east and west, as well as major infrastructure investments. What do these investments look like? We're going to dive deeper into that. But what is also happening because of what already takes place here? Well, I already mentioned the low cost of living. We have a very strong and stable job market. We're definitely business friendly when it comes to a tax climate here in Iowa. We're located virtually dead center of the United States. And for the most part, a pretty high quality lifestyle can be lived here. So, what does that translate for to you, the either current resident or the newcomer looking to move here? Well, Des Moines is becoming a national relocation destination, not just one for the Midwest. And this happens for all the reasons that we've already mentioned moving forward. So, the biggest change that's coming to the Des Moines metro area is the airport. They have budgeted $550 million for one of the largest infrastructure improvements that we've seen in decades. What will this allow? Well, A, it created a lot of jobs for that large scale of a project. But B, what it's really going to drive here into Des Moines is you get a larger terminal. Well, actually, not larger, but an additional terminal. They're renovating the existing terminal after the new one's up and running. They've created a new sky bridge. They've expanded their baggage area to allow for more flights at one time. They're adding additional restaurants into the airport, as well as some shopping options. And overall, they are looking to modernize the Des Moines airport to be similar to a lot of your other larger metro airports with functionality and ease for the flyer. Now, what does this do and why does this matter? Well, a better airport typically indicates more business travel. Within more business travel, this allows for more corporate relocations. Within that corporate relocation, this brings jobs to the metro. What will that ultimately do? Additional jobs coming into the metro for relocation purposes, or just in general, is going to drive up the housing demand. Well, what does that do for Des Moines and the surrounding suburbs? With a higher housing demand, you are actually going to start seeing the price tags of your real estate go up. Thus, meaning if we come back to the investor side, whether you're a homeowner or you're an investor, you're going to start seeing the cost or the valuation of your home rise. Now, that does do a couple negative offsets. If you're looking to sell and buy, you're going to spend more money. But secondly, your property taxes are going to go up for the sheer fact that the valuation is going to go up. But we should be driving more higher paying jobs within the relocation aspect here to the metro. So it creates opportunity for those residents and or those relocating in order to have, if you're relocating, a lower cost of living, but if you're currently a resident, the opportunity to possibly land a higher paying job. The second area I want to discuss is known as the 515 Walnut Tower Division. What is this? So, this is a downtown high rise. Now, keep in mind that Des Moines has not built anything downtown. They've renovated, but they haven't actually built anything downtown in a very long time. And this will actually be a 33-story building. Yes, you heard right, 33 stories that will make up 360 luxury apartments. Now, what is going into this? Well, the build kind of got put on hold in the fall of 25. It's back on again, but what does luxury look like? Not sure. They're still pouring the floors as it goes up. But the project is estimated to be $148 million being invested into the Des Moines community. What does that mean for residents? Well, with having 360 additional places to live that obviously were not on the map to begin with, it's creating a sense of A, luxury, but B, community in the downtown area. And being downtown has always been highly sought after. It's just all the buildings are very old and have a high maintenance expense. But what this allows is it allows people to live within walkability to a lot of the nightlife, the eateries, even shopping. And the goal with this is also to add retail experience in the downtown area because having this many people live there is going to drive the ability, if you don't want to have a vehicle to commute, that you need retail space around you. This is also going to cater or style in the luxury area to those relocating for these corporate jobs to have more of a luxury base, but still have apartment style living. So that way, the maintenance, the upkeep, all of that is already taken care of within the building. Now, what is this also going to do? Well, believe it or not, it's probably going to drive some rental demand because when people are moving in for the relocation, this is a great option. But secondly, if you're relocating with a family, most people are not going to want a condo or apartment style living. And these apartments are designed to be studio, one bedroom, or two bedroom at the largest. So if you have a family relocating here, and a lot of people don't want to relocate and buy a house immediately, they would rather get a feel for the land, in a sense, and know where they want to live. Great thing about the Des Moines Metro, from one end to the other, you are a 30-minute drive. So relocating here is not like the hustle and bustle of a lot of other metro areas. But this project is going to be the tallest building in the Des Moines Metro. It is also the largest boost to downtown property values that we have seen in decades. So, similar to the Walnut project, but that's new, we're also doing what's called the Market District Redevelopment Renovation Project. That is $750 million being pumped into, again, the downtown market. Now, what does this include? Well, within the redevelopment of the buildings or spaces that are down there, we are going to have a new hotel. We are going to have additional apartments. Again, remember, I told you the rents are going to start coming in and give more opportunity to investors. There's going to be office space. There's a plan for an amphitheater. They're also putting in a new public park, as well as potentially a lot of entertainment or retail on the bottom side of some of these buildings. So, this is about really turning Des Moines into a true destination district. Now, why is that? Well, this project is supposed to attract more tourism. It's supposed to drive local businesses, so small mom and pops, to have opportunity to thrive in the downtown market, as well as between these rental units as well as the purchasable luxury area. It is supposed to drive up the rental demand to be downtown, aka giving different demographic an opportunity to live in downtown area. What this does for the city as a whole is it does drive long term appreciation. And this truly is the game changer for Des Moines because within that appreciation, it gives the investor opportunity to make money. But two, it allows the city as a whole to become or focus more on the popularity of people wanting to be located within Des Moines and the downtown area. Prior to these two major redevelopments and or builds, everything downtown you had to go visit. There was only a handful of apartment buildings downtown. Now, it's not that they're small apartment buildings, but there was only a handful, and not everything was in walking distance. These two new locations and developments will put everything literally within a 5 to 10 minute walk, so you can experience the local shops and eateries on a much more regular basis, is what we'll say. So let's get out of downtown Des Moines. Why not push to West Des Moines? And let's talk about the Valley West Mall. And if you've been around Des Moines for any extent of your life, you know that the Valley West Mall has been a staple for a very long time. On the bright side, it just got an acquisition put together, and it is now the state's largest rezoning for mixed use development. Now, what does this mean for you? Well, typically, and this is typically because no plans have been put forth yet, typically it means that there's going to be a mixture of residential, retail, office, and entertainment. Sometimes you're also going to be a lifestyle center. But what this means is that there will be a complete reshaping realistically in this pocket of West Des Moines. And what that does for current land values is it's typically going to drive a massive appreciation because you're bringing more value to the area. And this being the largest reported repositioning in the entire metro for many, many, many years, you should expect a drastic change in this area, as well as the opportunity to invest before it takes place and capitalize on that appreciation or growth yourself. One of the fastest growing suburbs, known as Waukee, they're also doing some massive growth. And what they're doing is what most would probably refer to as its own downtown lifestyle. And they're actually putting in a food hall, a duck pin bowling alley, pickleball courts, a rooftop bar, an arcade, as well as multiple venues for entertainment purposes. Why does this matter so much? Well, as far as lifestyles amenities go, what this is going to do is it's going to attract people and it's going to attract families, young professionals, as well as high income buyers. And what does that do there? Well, it's going to drive up the price tag of the housing. It's also going to then generate retail demand because of such an influx in the housing and desirability to live there, which then will also increase builder expansion. And just a little food for thought, Waukee has been the fastest growing city in Iowa for about 3 years now, and it's also ranked nationally in growth. So be prepared, Waukee. So I want to jump to Ankeny, and this is actually a huge benefit to Ankeny that's not really being talked about or publicized, and that's the airport expansion. And what does this look like? So Ankeny has its own little regional airport. It's about 20-minute drive at most to the Des Moines mega airport, if that's what you want to call it, but the Des Moines airport. And what they're doing is they're actually expanding the runway and adding on so that they can take on a little bit larger of an aircraft. Now, I'm not saying a 777 or even a 737, but a lot of corporate jets. Why? Because there are a lot of corporate headquarters in Ankeny. And to name one that's huge that everybody knows about if you're anywhere from the Midwest is Casey's. Now, what is this going to do for Ankeny as a whole? Well, it allows larger jets to come in, which also in turn will push business travel from the local corporations if it's something close or private jet. And they're considering a second terminal. Well, that's going to be huge to double the size of your airport, figuratively, or at least the footprint of it, to allow for multiple travels. So, what does this do? Well, remember we mentioned the relocation aspect and how Des Moines is a perfect relocation hub. What this is going to allow Ankeny to be more of a relocation hub, having its own airport and those private jets for the corporate side of things to be able to fly in and out within a 10-minute drive of anywhere in Ankeny or North Des Moines. It also, Ankeny has a fair amount of manufacturing as well as logistics. And Ankeny in the metro, with all of these factories and stuff included, has one of the higher paying jobs around here. And by higher paying jobs, I just mean as a city, not one particular job over the other. So, what will this do? Well, realistically, this is going to turn Ankeny into what you might classify as a commercial powerhouse, which means if you're watching for long term growth, Ankeny is positioning itself to be an absolute growth monster again in the very near future. And this isn't something that Ankeny's not used to. For about 5 years, it was ranked in the top 3 for growth in cities nationwide. So stay in touch for that one. This one intrigues me a lot, mainly because I live here. So, my goal weekly is to deliver you information on and around the Des Moines metro area for whether you're buying, selling, relocating, whatever the reason is, or even investing. So, if you found value in this video and you're still around, I'd love it for you to like, subscribe, and follow. Drop me a comment down below if you have any questions in regards to anything mentioned in this video, and I'd be happy to touch base on it. In a quick recap, I just kind of want to touch on the towns that have rapid expansion going on right now in the Des Moines metro. And we didn't touch base on all of these because, well, the video could get drug out even longer. But your key one's going to be Ankeny and Waukee. Those two are driving expansions in their towns at a very rapid pace compared to the rest. The West Des Moines with the Valley Mall redevelopment, that is a big ordeal. Altoona, Grimes, Johnston, don't forget about these. But the big one also for housing and affordable or downtown nightlife is going to be the 2 massive developments that's going on in downtown Des Moines. With all the growth going on, I want to really dive into what does this mean for the buyers, sellers, and potentially the investors in the metro. As a home buyer, you're almost guaranteed to see the price tag of houses go up because when there's growth, there's increased value. The more you wait, usually means it's going to cost you more when acting and moving forward with a purchase as well. If you're a home seller, high buyer demand drives up the price, it lowers the inventory, and it also gives you as the home seller maximum appreciation in a short time frame for your property. Translations, it is a great time to consider selling your home if it's something that's been on the back burner. If you're a real estate investor, what does this mean for you? Well, it means that there's not really a bad place to start placing your money, whether it's multifamily, downtown rentals, suburbs, or even commercial real estate, because everywhere is going to be an excellent buying opportunity. So Des Moines isn't just growing, it's actually transforming. And knowing where the growth is happening could put you ahead of the competition in the game of buying or selling. So if you're thinking of buying or selling or investing anywhere in the Des Moines metro, I'd love to have the opportunity to help you to build a smart plan and not guess your way through it, but have it planned. If this video has helped you, please hit the like button, subscribe for weekly real estate updates, and drop your questions in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.